I went home that night and I was on the computer searching all about this apartment. I wanted to know all the deets, as one would before they move somewhere. So I was Googling and searching the address. I wanted to find any sort of dirt that I could on the building, on the man who owns the building. I was looking for any sort of news that might be out there on the internet about this building. I wanted to know. Luckily enough, I didn't really find anything that was too alarming. The one thing I did see, though, was actually a Facebook post. I don't know who still uses Facebook. I'm telling you, I'm like a 50-year-old woman or something. I don't know. Anyways, I saw this Facebook post from Googling the address. That was a picture of the apartment complex and a fire truck outside. Now, if you know me, one of my absolute biggest fears in life is fire. Like, this candle behind me stresses me out the whole time that I'm filming. I hate fire in any form, in any regard, any sort of fire, any flame I see, I'm like about to poop my pants. Anyways, so when I saw that picture on Facebook, at first I was like, oh, okay, that is kind of stressing me out a little bit. I don't like to see a fire truck outside of the apartment complex that I'm about to move into. But then I sat there and I thought about it and I was like, now hold on. If there was a fire of some sort in the building, now this picture had been posted like 2 years before that day. I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, now if there was a fire of some sort about 2 years ago, just generally speaking, from like odds, what are the odds of it happening again? Like, it's already happened. So what are the chances of it happening again? Come on. I've been alive for 21 years and knock on wood, I have never been involved in a fire. So I was thinking, if this building was just involved in a fire 2 years ago, like, everyone should be more alert. It shouldn't be involved in a fire again. So I just wrote that off and I was like, whatever, it's still a nice building. Maybe there was just a little mishap and the fire department came and someone posted a picture of it on Facebook. So, if you can tell where I'm going with this, I was wrong. I was wrong. this woman comes up to me, and she's holding the hand of her little daughter. Like, the daughter is probably like 2 or 3, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 years old. Not more, but maybe 2, 3, or 4 years old. And she looks at me and she says, "Is this real?" I don't know why she picked me to ask, because I swear I looked the most frazzled. But anyways, I was like, "Ma'am, I have no clue what's going on. Like, it's only my 3rd day out here. Like, we had just moved in like a week or 2 before." So anyways, then she asks me, "Has anybody called the fire department?" And once again, I did not have an answer for her. I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. I don't even know what's going on right now. All of a sudden, about 5 to 10 seconds after that conversation that me and the lady had, a man runs past her down the hallway. Now, he was not running in the direction down the hallway towards the door that leads outside. He was running down the hallway towards, like, deeper into the building, farther away from the door that leads outside. So then I'm like, what is going on in this building? What is wrong with these people? Why is nobody trying to go outside? Like, the alarm is still ringing, and it is very, very, very loud. And nobody seemed that concerned. Anyway, so this man books it past us down the hallway, and then he's followed by another group of people running down the hallway. And he gets to a door about 5 doors down from my door, pulls it open, and all I see is smoke billowing out of the door. I almost lost it at that point. I was like, what is going on? Like, stay here for much longer. We've lived here just under a year, and it's so unfortunate that we're already leaving, because this was our first home together, and I really thought that we would be living here for a little longer. But I cannot take the stress of this fire alarm situation, because this exact scenario has happened 3 more times. So in the 8 to 9 months that me and my boyfriend have lived here, this has happened not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times. 4 times in 8 months. What? What is going on in this building? Like, what is wrong with these people? I have no idea. But it's crazy, and I'm stressed every day just thinking, when is it gonna happen again? Anyways, so the next time it happened was in January, so only like a month and a half later. It happened in January, and my boyfriend was in a class, because of course all of our classes were online this semester. He was in class, on like Zoom class, and the fire alarm went off. That one didn't last for very long, and it was not on the floor that we lived on, so I really have no details of what happened that time. And luckily we were together, he was here. But then it happened a 3rd time in March, so like 2 months after that. It happened in March, and it was like mid-morning, and I was alone again. But that one was pretty short too. I actually don't really remember that one as much, but I do know that it happened. And then the most recent instance of this happening was just about like 2 weeks ago. It happened again, but this time it was much more stressful, and this really like put the final nail in the coffin that we have to move, because my rabbit now lives here with us. I have always had a rabbit. Well, not always. Well, yes, always, but not this rabbit. I've always had rabbits growing up. But my bunny now, he's about 2 years old, and I've had him since he was about 8 weeks old, because I got him from the pet store that I was working at the time. Anyways, when me and my boyfriend moved into our apartment, my rabbit stayed with my mom for a few months, until we really got settled and like were able to buy all of our furniture and decorate and just get really settled and get like really comfortable living here. She kept my bunny with her at her home for like four-ish months or something, and I picked him up in my birthday, which was in March, and he came to live with us in March. And so yeah, this most recent time that we had this emergency evacuation with the fire alarm going off, we of course had to bring my bunny with us, and that was so stressful. Oh my gosh, so stressful. Me and my boyfriend were just like chilling mid-afternoon on a Sunday. We were just chatting about when we heard the fire bell go off. Like usual, I jump out of my skin. I started freaking out. Like seriously freaking out. Like I was about to have a panic attack. I like couldn't even see. I was shaking. I could barely feel my hands. I was so stressed, because you never really, like, all the 3 other times, it's just been like close calls, false alarms, I guess, but you never know when it's gonna be real. Like when you're actually gonna lose your home and all your stuff in it, and you can't just think it's gonna be a false alarm every time. You not sure if he knew